What's our specification? Welcome to week 5. We have a new problem specification for the fire flower. What do we want it to do? Let's remind ourselves. Yeah, so for the purposes of our document here, new fire flower behavior. When you click on it on the ground, it is equipped. It is used. The use is to equip it. When you click on it when it is equipped, it is used. The use is drop, right? Or unequip or something like that. Is that the problem we're solving? Did I change the problem? Did I forget? It's possible. Okay, so let's do that. So that means we've got this fire flower that already has a touchable aspect to its behavior. When you touch it, it auto-equips. We're saying we're not going to do that anymore. Or maybe we'll still support that. That's fine, right? Who cares if you actually run into it, maybe we'll auto-equip it. But if you can see it up ahead and you click on it, maybe we want to grab it right away. Why? I don't know. Maybe we're making Diablo for some reason. Maybe in one level we're going to want to support that. Maybe in the PC version that makes sense. It really doesn't matter. But it means we need a new aspect to our behavior of our object. That means that it is touchable, or it is usable. So where do we put those things? Where's our scripts? In here, right? So we're saying, generally speaking, we're going to want to have an interface that is to use an item. We don't care what it means to use an item, but we know that if we use it, we want to do something. And this is a mixin. Right? There we go. What's going to be usable? Our fire flower is going to be usable. So we're going to add is usable. Even just to prove this out, just for debugging purposes, I'm going to add a bool called useMe for debug in the editor for testing. Okay. And an update, I'm going to say if useMe, no, I'm going to say is usable update because we're never going to break our rules, right? I'm going to say if useMe is true, what are we going to do? What do we usually do when a mixin does something? So is usable implements what? That's data. What does it mean to use something? It means that it has a use method, right? Equipable equips, usable uses, self-destructible self-destructs, modify transform, modifies transform. So use just does use. What does it mean to use something? Did we agree that on is going to be capital or lowercase? So I forgot.
I think it was lower.
Was it lower? So to use something means we're going to dispatch a bunch of methods, and that method that we're going to do when we use it means to equip it. Is it possible we're going to have a different kind of item that can be used in a different way other than equipping? Is it possible we're going to have a different item in our game that to use it means it's going to, talk to us?
It's
or do something else. Yeah, so the actual implementation of use isn't tied to anything. It's actually just a connector. So in our debug here, we're saying even before we have another aspect that uses this thing, we can debug it with the checkbox. So we're just going to say if useMe is true, use. Okay. Debug the use case. Fair enough? Okay. In our very, very specific example here, Fireflower object is usable. What is it that we want it to do when we click it? We want to equip it. Or maybe dequip it if it is equipped. Do we have a method for that in our isEquipable? We have an equip. Did we implement dequip? We did not. I'm going to say toggle equip. Okay? We know what it means to equip something. We didn't finish dequip. To do, implement this. What does it mean to dequip something? It means find the slot that this object is in, remove it from that slot, drop the item in the world, detach from parent, etc., etc. Agreed? We didn't implement that, but that's what it means to decrypt something. It means it's no longer in my hand. I'm going to detach it. It's on the ground somewhere in front of me. We didn't implement that. We need to. Once we have decrypt, we can implement toggle. If this item is equipped, equip it. If this item is not equipped, equip it. Can we write toggle equip? Is there a way to know? If you have a recipient, is there a way to know if the object has been equipped in the recipient somewhere?
Yeah. We can check the equip slots.
Yeah, search all equip slots. Am I in one of those? No, I'm not equipped yet. Easy enough. So that means our object isn't really going to care. Our object is going to do one thing. Toggle equip. Make sense? Okay. But wait, is there a problem? What's the problem?
Equip needs a recipient.
It sure does. Do we have it on click? Or do we have it even at this point? We do not. We don't know which guy to check. The guy to check came from the touch event because we know what game object touched it. So in this situation, what do we want to do?
I gave is usable a game object and called it the user. And we use that as the recipient.
How do you know what user to use by default? Is that set at design time? Did you drag it in like the way you play?
Yeah.
Okay. If I was a clickable object, are there any assumptions we can make about the user? Would you ever want to click on a game object and have it not be the player? Maybe. Can you think of any game where you click click on the object and you want it to do something to something else.
Go in the back. That's still.
That's still the player's backpack, right? Yeah. So maybe that's a fair assumption. Maybe that's a fair assumption. So then did you say the recipient was the user on start of the,
Yeah. Well, in the use method, because I gave it a use method.
in the use method?
Yeah.
So you do a set recipient user, something like that?
Although I guess it could be done on start, since it's always good to say.
Not necessarily. Maybe at runtime we're gonna want to change the recipient.
Oh, yeah.
The very like last point of failure, if we want to defer the opportunity to have a logical error as late as we possibly can until it becomes critical, it would be the line before we actually dereference the recipient. So we'll defer that judgment, we'll defer that binding or that setting that variable until as late as we possibly can. I don't think there's anywhere later than actually there until we do the send message. And that's fair. I'm okay with that. So we have a user. So we can use it. And use is to equip. And we're actually not equipping, we're toggling equip. So how can we know? What does toggle equip have to do? It actually looks very similar to equipped at the beginning, right? Get all the slots, search all the slots. We'll assume it's false. We're searching for the object. How do we know if we've actually found an object?
Basically, if the object within the slot, or within all, well, if it's in the slot, then we know, and it's not equal to null.
Yep.
Then we know that it's in there, so.
For sure. There'll be an object reference, because .obj in the slot is a reference to a game object. It will have the same address as this .game object. If they are the same object instance, then they are the same object. So there we go. Now we know if it's equipped or not. So if equipped was true, we'll dequip, else equip. And we have equip. Do we have dequip? We do not. What does dequip do? It actually looks very similar to this. Search through all slots. If we find it, what do we want to do? Yeah, we gotta do something. We gotta do something. We have to make an assumption. Maybe we want to throw it in front of ourselves a little bit. Let's set it to null. So that no longer has anything in it. else do we want to do? This game object transform parent equals. So who owns our object when we dequip it? The world. So let's say null. Because we have no parent anymore. We're detached. That also means that our local position is, v drop pause. What's drop pause? Let's compute it. Where are we going to drop the object? Let's say we're always going to drop it. Assume we will drop in front of the player, I don't know, 30 units for some reason. Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe the distance should be, you know, some random vector based off of its weight, or who knows, some algorithm, but let's say 30 units in front. What does it mean to drop something 30 units in front? Can do it either way, right? It's either my forward, or it's either vector 3 dot forward, depending if we're doing the local coordinates or world coordinates. So what's our drop pause? It's going to be recipient position plus recipient forward times distance, drop distance maybe. Oh my goodness. Something like that. And we say it'll drop it right there, drop pause. Let's see. Does it compile? It does. The hero will be our user. And let's go. So where's our flower? Here's our flower. It's over here. Can we click on it in the scene view and have that work? No, we cannot. So let's try here. Boink. Did it do what we wanted to do? The little sphere thing is too small. Right. Oh, well we haven't even implemented click yet, have we? We've only implemented the debug. So to debug it, we're going to just say use me. Is equip slot, equip error, recipient is null. Uh-oh. What line did that happen on? Line 63 is equipable. So we tried to equip it, and we failed. Which isn't bad, because at least it tells us that it tried to equip it. There we go again. If we go into our call stack, we can see we called toggle equip from send message, and equipped returned false for whatever reason. Maybe that worked, but equip failed. Why did equip fail? Equip failed for some reason. The recipient was null. What did we forget to do?
We set the recipient in is usable.
Right.
But we set it, yeah. We set the recipient of is equipped.
again. Try again. Click. Hey, look, it's in our hand right away. So we used it, we equipped. Let's try and use it again. Oh, and look, it's spawning fireballs. Click. Hey, where'd it go? Is it somewhere sensible? Well, there it is, way in front. See that? Do you like 30 units? That's too far. Let's try like 3. Or let's make drop distance public. Default is 0. I'm not a fan of that because dropping at a distance of 0 is going to be bad news. But maybe that'll make more sense. So there's our object. Use it. It's equipped. Toggle it again. It's dropped. We can equip it again. We can drop it again. So that's cool. What if we had 2 flowers? Control D. Flower 1 and flower 2. Let's say we use flower 1 to equip it. That was flower 2. Let's say then we use flower 1. What should we expect to happen there? We should be able to equip an item in each hand, shouldn't we? They're both one-handed items, right? Did we do this right? Let's see. Let's make sure we did this right. Two is red. I'll make one blue so we can see what's going on. Okay. There's flower 1. If I equip it, it goes in my hand. If I dequip it, it goes down. There's flower 2. If I equip it, it goes into my hand. Interestingly, it goes into the opposite hand. Is that what you would expect? I dequip it, it goes back down. Or do they both go in the left hand? Maybe I noticed incorrectly.
One went to the right hand.
One's going to the right hand, one's going to the left hand. Huh. Is that what you would expect?
Yeah.
No.
No. It should go to the first slot that's empty.
When you equip it, you should set your slots equipped to null.
Oh, we forgot to do that?
Yeah.
Very good.
Front sided.
In dequip. Oh, the enum? The slot dot, where's the enum? Or were we saying we need to set to? We set the object to null.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was my problem. No, a little lie.
What did we forget to do? it to do? It has an E slot, right? Slot type. No, the slot type doesn't change. The slot type is just the kind of object that it receives. It has an object reference, and we set the object reference to null. So let's debug it. Do you think there's a bug? I think there's a bug. So going back to object 1, equipping it, it goes into the right hand. Dequipping it puts it back. Object 2, if we equip it, we're doing a toggle equip. So let's look. We grab the use. We have a recipient. Who's the recipient? The recipient's the hero. That's good. That's not good. I don't know what that is. Get the slots. How many slots do we have? 3. We have 3 slots. For each slot, is it in there? It's not in anywhere, so we know it's not equipped, so we know we want to equip it. So here we are in equip. Get the 3 slots again. Check the slot type. Slot type is one-handed, right? Looking for the first slot. What is the first slot we encounter? Left hand. So left hand, head, and right hand. So it found left hand. In fact, I'm going to add, just to debug this, I'm going to add is equipable, equip, found an open slot, inserting into, how do I get the name of this, of the game object I'm inserting into? Or the name of the slot object. IES.game object. Lowercase name. Name is a string, right? I don't need to string it, I don't think. It is a string, well, then that's redundant. Maybe that'll help. Let's see what happens. Stop this nonsense. Try again. Open up our window. We're using number 2. We hit a breakpoint. Is equipable. Found an open slot, inserting into left hand. Found an open slot, inserting into right hand. Huh. And then dequip, it's gone. Now go to this other guy. Found an open slot, inserting into left hand. Putting it away is fine. Really? Did it really insert it into 2 slots for some reason? Inserting into left hand, inserting into right hand. What's the problem? In equip, do we insert it into both? How can you insert a one-handed item into both slots? You can't, right? So why is it inserting into both? You don't limit it. What do you mean? Yeah, but why? What's the error? We loop over all slots. If the slot type matches and there's no object in it, we attach it. What we want to do is only do it in the first open slot, right? So once we found an open slot, we want to break. Although I'm not convinced that's the entire problem, because I would expect two inserts in both cases. So there we go, insert into left hand, and it is in his left hand, and then he drops it, inserts into left hand, drops it, I like that. What is this guy gonna do? Inserts into left hand, drops it, inserts into left hand, drops it. Insert into left hand, now use this, insert into right hand. So cool. Now we've got one in both hands. He looks like he's a double ping pong player, right? Something. There he goes. Ping pong man with his two fire flowers. South American band member? He's playing some kind of instrument? I don't know. Alright. So that's nice. And then if we want to dequip, we can dequip anyone we want, right? We can see we can actually get on those things. So we can drop that guy again to dequip it, and that guy somewhere. Cool. They both drop at exactly the same spot. I don't know if I like that. Maybe we want to add like a little random offset vector in the drop, just to make sure they go somewhere different. Maybe we want to do a little sphere cast or something so they don't sit on top of each other. But that's small details.